Hey guys, and welcome to day 3 of my seasonal 7 series where I post 7 videos in 7 days leading up to and themed around, in this case, the spring equinox. So today we're talking about alignment. This is a big deal to me. This is like a core central component of my spiritual practice, of my philosophy, of my life. And it's just something that is always being strengthened. I'm always like, this is the truest shit ever. Like, it's one of those things where the truth never really gets old, and it's always being reaffirmed in my life. So I feel really passionate about the subject. But today, we're going to focus specifically on seasonal alignment, why, how, and the power of it, because it is profound. So let's get into it.
If I will ever figure out where the road goes, even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost my mind, I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.
So, I'm really hoping that everyone who's watching this has seen Finding Nemo. If you haven't, real sorry, because I'm going to use it as an analogy. Now, in Finding Nemo, there's those like super rad stoner turtles, you know what I mean? And they're like, hey man, it's cool. They're like super chill. And when they're traveling in the ocean, they get on that like jet stream thing. I know there's a really official term for what that is, but I don't know what it is, so I'm gonna go with jet stream thing. They get on the jet stream thing, okay? And they're like not even really swimming, they're just like chilling, but the jet stream is like pushing them forward. And Nemo and Dory get on there and they're like riding, and then when they get kicked out, it's like, that wasn't an important part, but I like that part. Anyways, that is what it is to be in alignment with the seasons. That is exactly 100% what it is to be. That's what it is to be in alignment in general, but for this conversation, that's what it is to be in alignment with the seasons. So on a global scale, there are seasonal shifts where the energy, the frequency of our natural environment takes on specific qualities, right? And this is inherently known by everyone on account of the way it feels in the middle of a fall day and the way it feels in the middle of a summer day and a spring day and a winter day, whatever, right? If you work in alignment with those characteristics and work with it congruently, it is a jet wave and you are hopping on it to fast track your progress, your ascension, your manifestations, your growth, everything. So working with that is like being a super cool surfer turtle from Finding Nemo, because that energy is already in full force. It's a big energy because it's literally global, and it's specifically stronger and polarized and like empowered on the equinoxes and solstices, because that is the specific alignment that is occurring. So in this instance, spring equinox is going to be when, well, theoretically, if you were on the equator, the day and night would be exactly equal. It is when the night no longer has a stronghold, and it's essentially the first day. The equinox starts on the first day of the sign of Aries, which is the first sign in the zodiac. And I'm about to admit that I was wrong, just real quick, because I feel like I have to do that. I have to own up to me being an idiot. I don't know why. Like, I studied the Wheel of the Year when I was young. Like, I know that spring is the beginning of the year. Somehow, in the last couple of years, I got it in my head that the winter solstice was, and I made a lot of posts about that this past winter solstice. So I just want to apologize. That was dumb, and I was wrong. That being said, the spring equinox is, and I'm not wrong this time. So the spring equinox is the beginning of the year. It's like the actual new year. Like, we celebrate it on the 31st of December, but it's really like the first day of Aries. And that's what this is now. But it's a natural new year, right? This is the cosmological cycle of a new year. And if you want to plant any seeds of intention for the next following year, that's the day you do it, because that jet stream is going to be there and you can hop on it. Now, I'm going to upset some people with this next little segment because I think it's important and needs to be said. One of the issues, really the issue I have with the law of attraction community, is that the law of attraction is oftentimes treated as the law of the universe, when it is in fact a law of the universe. A, not the, right? There are many laws of the universe, and there's a lot of other factors to be taken into consideration. I take issue with this. This is not a direct reflection of any one particular person. I also practice law of attraction things, but the law of attraction community at large has a egoic, borderline narcissistic tendency to it, in which their will is the way and the only way, and they will have what they want, and they're in control of everything. You're just not, right? If you believe in anything of any higher frequency, you have to start to acknowledge the fact that those frequencies have more influence than you do while you were in this state, right? You are currently having a human experience, right? You are a multidimensional being of light having a human experience right now. And in doing that, in doing that, you are, first of all, somewhat limited. You don't have the amount of, just too much distortion in this existence to really hold the kind of power and influence that exists from a less distorted frequency. Like I would say Lemuria or early Atlantean times, if you're into that, they had, as a collective society, because that's really key, you have to collectively be on the same frequency for the collective to have that capability. There's too much forced negative distortion right now. I'm on a side tangent. Anyways, point is, you have to start to acknowledge that there are other forces. And I've said this before, and I will say it again. You have a specific purpose. And it's not something that's forced upon you either. It's not like it's something that, like, I want to do this with my life, but the universe says I have to do that. It's like the universe is saying, if you do these things, it will lead to your ultimate happiness and the best for all people. Because when you live your true, authentic, dharma, really, if you live that and you do what you came to do, it will fulfill you and also benefit everyone else. Now, oftentimes in our human struggles, we strive for things that we think we want based on false programming. That's where shadow work comes into play. But once you start to dig into that and you start to let go of the control, that's the thing with the law of attraction. They have this really terrible push and pull between control and release. But it's mostly control. They try to control their thoughts and control everything. If you just think positive thoughts all day long, then only good things will happen to you. No, it fucking won't. That's not what being a human is. A human is a balanced existence of learning and growth. And in order to have learning and growth, you have to experience some discomfort. That's a part of it. Like, you can't just skip that. It's not going to work out for you. That's why I think people get really into law of attraction and then they end up dissatisfied, because there are other considerations to take into account. If you allow yourself to learn yourself and allow the universe to guide you and flow, this is where it's going to come into play. We're going to wrap this back around. This is relevant. Flow with the universe and allow it to show you what you should manifest and what you should work on. It will lead to fulfillment. And I will give you a personal example. Only recently started to, and when I say recently, I mean 2021, recently, started to really find deep fulfillment with making these videos. It wasn't something that it wasn't something that I was excited about at one point, but it was something I was very much guided to. And there's a whole, I could write a short book about the whole process of getting me to make this channel. All of the things, all the discomforts, all of the problems I've had to, all the lessons I've had to learn to be able to do this has been the most liberating fucking experience of my life. Like, building this channel has been the most amazing. And I obviously have not built a huge channel. I have, I think as of today, 600 subscribers. It's not even a big channel. But in the process of beginning to do this, I have found tremendous amounts of satisfaction and fulfillment. And that's because at one point, I let go of the fucking wheel. And I was like, all right, you know what? Just tell me where to go. I quit. I'll do whatever, you know? And I just decided to relinquish control and to surrender and to trust that I came here for a reason, right? You came here for a reason. We all incarnated very intentionally and consciously. We all have a purpose. We all have a plan. And this is built into the system itself. Your soul knows how to navigate it. The easiest way to find the roadmap is to begin to flow with the universe at large. So the seasons is a really good way to do that. It's 4 occurrences a year where the energy shifts into a specific frequency with a specific set of attributes. And by aligning yourself with those attributes and being conscious of them, you are facilitating in a convergence between you and larger divine forces so that you can more easily, rapidly, and successfully navigate your life's journey, which is a human experience. As a side note, there's a real obsession with escaping, right? There's an obsession with like, I'm going to ascend to the 5D. I'm done with the Matrix. No, you're a human. Be a human. We're here. If you consider yourself to be a light worker, for instance, I find a lot of light workers talk about 5D ascension, and I find that very ironic because if you're a light worker, your job is to seed light in the 3rd dimension, not ascend from it, right? So it's just these little things. I'm on a side tangent now, but the point is aligning yourself with the seasons is a really fantastic way to begin to open and be receptive to the guidance that you're being given. And that is where real, true miracles and manifestation really begins to happen, because when you manifest what it is that you are supposed to manifest, you are now working with larger divine forces that you couldn't be more empowered. I mean, literal miracles, like mind-blowing miracles. If you acknowledge that you have a spirit guide, if you acknowledge that there are deities, if you acknowledge in, say, Palladian or Arcturian or some of the other star seed races, then you have to start to acknowledge the fact that there are more influential, higher frequencies. Additionally, if you begin to acknowledge that you have a higher self, that you are a multidimensional being of light, right, then part of your consciousness exists outside of the limited understanding of this particular density, right? And therefore, that part of you has understanding and is trying to guide you towards something that you can't see. You just have to understand that you can't see it all here. The only thing, I don't really hold beliefs. I hold current paradigms and working theories because I have been wrong on many a time. So one of the, the one thing that has been made abundantly clear to me and that I believe in is that I cannot know it all. I can't understand it all. I will never in this life here really understand the big picture. I don't understand the why. I'm not going to understand the why. I did very briefly as a fun side story. I partook, it was one of my plant medicine ceremonies, ayahuasca specifically, and it was the craziest day of all my ceremonies. That was the wildest because I entirely left. I've never been that deep before. I've never been that gone before. I was out there. I was gone. It wasn't this entity anymore. All of that had fallen away, which is very uncomfortable, by the way. And then I understood everything. I understood absolutely fucking everything. I knew everything. And I was just like, huh, but it was like I remembered everything more than anything. I remembered everything. And it was just like, oh, and then there was almost like a falling, like as I came back down. And as I was coming back down, I was losing it. And I remember, oh, entities are dicks sometimes in the best way. I mean that in the best way. But there was something in particular, I don't know what it is now, but there was something in particular that I wanted to remember, and I begged. I said, I need to remember this. I remember this. And they said, you can't take that with you. And it was for two reasons. They just said you can't take that with you. But the understanding that it came with that was that A, it would fuck up everything. There was a plan in place. I understood when I was up there and I looked down, things like, I can't quite really fully remember it now. But I remember realizing that things like astrology, choosing the birth chart that you incarnate into is as simple as 2 + 2 from that perspective, right? And when I was coming back down and I was losing everything, I was begging and whatever. And not only can I not remember it because it would fuck up the plan, but I couldn't remember it because it was this understanding that this body, this realm, this dimension can't hold that frequency. It can't hold that knowledge. Like it's like a physical impossibility almost. Like it doesn't fit. It's like trying to put a boulder into a glass of water. It just doesn't fucking work. You'd have to shatter the glass of water. And I know, and then like, it was almost like the biggest lesson I took away from that was that I can't understand the why. I can't understand the big plan. All I can do is know, because that's the one thing that I learned up there was that I have a purpose. I remembered it. I had a purpose, and then I also had another time where it's a whole different story. But anyways, there was a purpose, there was a plan, and I had an agenda, and I was living that agenda out. I just needed to follow the signs. And that's where the manifestation issue comes up for me, is because there's this idea that like, it's very egoic, that you just know and you can have whatever you want. You just create your reality. You're not allowing for divine inspiration and guidance. And when you flow with the seasons, there's a lot of other alignments, and it's a big topic for me. If you can't tell by how sporadic I'm getting, I want to say a million more things about it. I could like fill a movie with this, but it's something that when you work with it and you open that space up and you say, I'm ready to be led, show me, and then you manifest that which you are guided to manifest, that's when real magic starts to occur, because at that point you're working in congruence with all of those higher energies and understandings. And that's real power you tap into at that point. That's magic. That's miracles. That's what it's about. If you want to see miracles in your life, you flow with the natural resources and you are open to divine guidance and you have faith in it. And that's really what this video is about. And I hope that I did a decent job of explaining it. I feel like I've been on a wild up and down tangent from Finding Nemo to Arcturian sentient beings and everything in between. So I know this is real colorful the map. I really hope that it made sense. It's also very late, and I hope I helped. I hope this was clear. Please give me some feedback on this one, because this is one where I'm like, I have so many things I want to say. I don't really know how I can spit it out in a short, reasonably timed video and limit it to spring equinox, because as you can tell, I got off topic very quickly. Like, this is such a larger topic than that, but the spring equinox is a component of it. Aligning yourself to these seasonal shifts is an important component that I strongly, firmly believe in. And with spring equinox being about planting seeds and manifestation, if you're going to manifest something, this is the fucking time to do it. But be open. Manifest just your highest good. Keep it open. Allow for divine inspiration. Allow yourself to be led and have faith in that. And I promise you, magic will happen. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Instagram, Twitter. You know the drill. I don't want to bore you. It's been long enough already. Happy day 3 of seasonal 7. There are 4 more days to come, so stay tuned.